Hey guys, my name is Savannah. I am here from Mint Ops for another webinar today. Super excited because I have the pleasure of having my friend Noel here. He is our resident expert with Independent Hygienists and Denturists. So this one is specifically catered for you guys. So when Noel and I were talking about this, we realized there's kind of a gap. People forget about you guys sometimes. We don't, because we know how important you are and how important your business is. So we thought we'd jump on today, talk about some of the challenges going on in the market and offer some of the solutions that are out there and just give you guys some good inspiration and things about your practice. So one of the first things I have to do on every webinar is housekeeping. So a couple things to let you guys know. This session is being recorded. So if you are watching it live, it's great. You'll get a recording later. If people have signed up and are not able to attend right now, they'll also get a copy of the recording, or you guys can let us know, we can send it. It's also going to be on our YouTube channel. So lots of options there. We do have a chat live on the left-hand side. If you guys have any questions at any point, Noel and I will definitely stop. We're happy to address people's questions. I can do it at the end. We can do it halfway through. We're pretty flexible, but we will stop at the end, make sure we can answer everything for you guys, but feel free to pop them in at any point. We can also offer CE, guys. So if anybody wants CE, we do need your information. So it's not automatic. If you can put it in the chat, your email address, where you'd like it to go to, we can send that after the webinar is over as well. So with that being said, Noel is going to share his screen and we're just going to get right into it and get going today.
All right.
So what we're going to talk about, guys, is we're going to talk about the differences in like independent practice and kind of what's going on in the world right now. So things have changed. It's not what it used to be. When I started dentistry, I'm not going to say how long ago, but a long time ago, I had heard of one independent hygiene clinic in my life. That was it. Now I see them all the time, right? And it's amazing. And it's a really good thing for people to have, you know, that autonomy to practice they want, etc. But now it's a thing. It's not like the one-off where you meet someone amazing who's just going to do this. It's a normal practice. So today what we're going to talk about is just some of the challenges that have come up, and we're going to go through some of the solutions that we can help offer or give you guys advice on. So today we're going to go through, we're going to talk about automation. I mean, it's a huge thing in practice. I still work in dental practices. I've worked with independents before, but we're going to talk about how we can improve that patient communication, how we can make it simpler for our patients. We're going to talk about online booking. This is one of my favorite things. I was just saying to our CEO, Alex, on the way here, I said, you know what? It's such an amazing tool. So Noel's going to really guide you guys through that and show you what options are available and kind of how that works for your practices and how it's going to capture new patients, because we all know we can't answer the phone 24/7. So he's going to really get into how that's going to be a powerful tool for you guys. And then we're going to talk about digital forms, implementing them, how we can enhance that patient experience, save you time in your practice. And I know what people are thinking right now, guys. I know what's going through your head. You're like, I'm a denturist. My patients can't fill out online forms. It's too stressful. It's too hard. I haven't had paper forms in a dental office, guys, in 10 years, and we see tons of seniors. You can do it. They can do it. They all have cell phones. They're getting techie. So don't let it scare you, but I'm going to let Noel go into how all that works and how easy it can be. And then we're going to review some marketing trends right now, what's kind of happening, what's changed in the last couple of years. And we're going to talk about some different ways that we can implement different things into your practice to attract those new patients, to get more people coming through the door and keep you relevant. So with that being said, I'm going to jump into some of the challenges that are going on. I made Noel into a flamingo, which I thought was awesome. He looks just really cool there. He's got the nice hair. He's got the glasses. I actually took a picture of him, put it in. I was like, what would Noel look like as a flamingo? There it is. So we're going to talk about why technology is important, what's trending. So some of the challenges when we were discussing this, we kind of came up with what's happening. So talk about how competition has grown, you know, not just in independent practice, but generally in dental, right? There's a lot more investor dentists. There's a lot more practices opening. There's a lot more opportunity for people. When I started in dentistry, I mean, our hours were 9 to 5. Monday to Friday. There was no deviation, right? Like that is how dentists practiced. Now it's not like that. It depends where you guys are in the country. East Coast a little different than the West Coast. Us West people, we're hardcore. We work till like 8, 9 p.m. East Coast people kind of have a nicer lifestyle. I'm the first to admit I'm kind of jealous of the people in Halifax who work 9 to 5. But it doesn't matter. There's just more competition regardless of if it's hours, if it's saturation, it's just changed. So it is a challenge. It's like, what do we do? How do we stand out? How do we be different? And then we're going to discuss how online presence has changed things. Social media has a huge effect on your practice, right? Google reviews. Who goes to a restaurant without looking up the reviews anymore, right? They're looking at you. They're looking at your social presence. They're looking at your online. So, it's a big thing for people. And if you don't think it's important, you're wrong. Even if you're in a small town and you are the only denturist in a small town, I promise you, people are still looking at your online presence regardless. Attracting new patients, harder and harder. We know this, guys. Again, the more hours, the more clinics, the more competition, the more independent owners there are, the harder it is to get new patients. And I'm sure, like, I know Noel hears this every day. It's like, this is probably your number one question, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. How do I get new patients? How do I get more new patients, right? It's harder and harder than it's ever been. I know with CDCP, we saw like a little bit of a shift in the market there because more people had coverage, but now it's like, that's kind of normalized dentistry a little bit. And people are going, well, there's no urgency to get in. I have dental coverage now, especially for seniors, right? And that's changed our landscape. So we're going to talk about how that's a challenge, what we can do to try to encourage those patients to come to your practice and what options are available. And then, no-shows and short notice cancellations. I don't know what is going on in the world of dentistry, but this has become a thing. Like, it's literally become a thing where people just don't care about our time like they used to. It's a common thing. I see it in dental practice. We see it in our independent practices. We see it in denturist practices. People just don't care as much as they used to. They don't value the time, or they just get too busy. Like, I get how life goes. I run from one place to another, to another, to another. And it's easy to forget about something and miss something. So we're going to talk about that a little bit and just some of the things that we can do with automation to make things a little bit easier for you guys. If you're still calling your patients to confirm, it's a problem. Right? You're spending so much valuable time. You maybe don't even need a receptionist. I don't know. I'm not going to tell people what to do today. But, sometimes with this automation, you don't realize how easy it can be for you and how much time you're going to save and how much stress you're going to save in your practice. So Noel's actually going to do, you guys are lucky because he's going to do like a live demo and show you guys how this works, which is awesome. So that's going to make a huge difference. So you can see it and see the potential that you have in your practice, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then, the other thing, this was my point, and I've noticed this especially more lately. I find patients aren't as loyal as they used to be. Patients used to drive an hour to go see their doctor. They would drive 45 minutes to go somewhere. And now I think it's a shift in many things. One of them being there's clinics everywhere. You don't have to go downtown in a major city to see a doctor or a dentist, right? Every suburb has multiple, right? So I think that's part of it. Patients, younger people, and I'm not generation here, but like they go somewhere for a free toothbrush. They go for a gift card. They're like, oh yeah, I'll just switch. No big deal. They want the free thing. They want something that's appealing. And the marketing on that, some of that stuff is really great. And it works for certain people, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But again, depending on where your practice is, what area you're in, we have like many different ideas that you can do with marketing to attract like that demographic, or you can attract a different age group. You could attract different things. So one of the things I tried in one of my practices recently is I actually had an influencer come in. I didn't tell Noel about this yet, but I had an influencer come into my practice, and she actually did a video of her hygiene appointment. And she made I'll send it to anybody who wants to see this, but it's really cool. So she made a video of what her experience was like in our practice. So it was when she came in, she showed the waiting room, and then she showed going through the practice, what it looked like. And then she was like, this, and then she talked about the hygienist, and she was like, this hygienist was awesome. I've never had someone stop so many times. And it was all accurate information. She's like, you know, she was just very caring. She was joking with me. This is what the experience was like. I got to watch TV. I got this, I got that. And she went through this whole entire thing. The video is maybe a minute and a half long, but it was really cool because it actually showed what the practice is like and what the experience is like. And it was just a different marketing pitch. You know, I wouldn't do it in a small town. It would make no sense. But in the big cities, if you're in the GTA, if you're in a place where the competition is high, it was something really cool that kind of showed the difference in the practice. So there's a lot of different ideas and different ways of collaborating and, you know, marketing your practice. Is just knowing all those things. And we're going to talk about, you know, what some of those options are and what some of those things look like. And Noel has a really cool report that he can show you guys. I love this because it actually gives you all the information about your practice, and we can do that for you, no problem. So yeah, so that's what we're going to go through. We're going to do some live demos, show you guys a lot of information. This is Super Noel, so he's going to talk about, he's going to show you guys, I kind of made him a superhero too. I made him into many characters.
Thank you.
Yeah, his hair's not as good in this one, but I tried. So he's going to go through, we're going to do some live demos here of just the different options and different solutions for some of these challenges. So I'm going to hand it over to him, and I'm going to let him show you guys all the cool things out there. And then we'll kind of go over a few more things, answer some questions, and wrap it up.
Yep. Okay. Sounds great. Thank you, Savannah, and thank you for the great introductions. There is well, there's one questions that I love to ask, or running on the back of my head, which is if we can automate the patient communications that send your patients reminders when is the appointment is coming. It's not only once, because sometimes, or most of the time, one is not enough. So you can send them a multiple reminders. So let's say send them 30 days before the appointment, 7 days and 2 days, depending on your cancellation policy. Now, the one of the advantages of that is if you can, today we have Tuesday today, we're Tuesday today, and looking at your appointments on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So you have 10 appointments on both days, 5 days each day. Thursday is good, perfect, all confirmed, they are coming, but Friday, that's where a couple of appointments are not coming. So looking at them right now, if they're not confirming, you have a time to fill the gaps. Call patients who are, and on your ASAP list, and fill out that. So, it's more the reminder system is, or the patient communications, or the engagement is, it gives you like a stable schedules, predictable schedules, and the productions are it's as expected. And also, just let's face it, the patients will need a few reminders and all that kind of stuff. And there's and moving into that, I have few things to discuss, and with a very limited time. So I have to come clean. I have my notes with me. So I have to go through this at some point. All right. So we'll break it down to what are the day-to-day challenges. So those are the I've mentioned one, and the staff are chasing the confirmation, staying phone calls, leaving messages with the voicemail are being responded after the appointments. And patients prefer to have like the text messages wherein they can respond at their convenience and all that kind of stuff. And appointment recall reminders. I've spoken with many offices, and one and asked about how is the recall reminder booking. And I'm kind of surprised because I thought this is about 90%, so 95% book, but it turned out to be about 70-80% are book. 20% will require, send me a reminders. I am guilty for one. I want them to send me the reminders and the convenience for me to book the appointments. So we will discuss the recall reminders and with the online booking integrations. But this is very important for the recall reminders to work very well. the recall has to be in the system. So the recall reminder campaign will pick up the program, will pick up that, and it will send this to the patients. And the same, it has the online booking link. And also patients can confirm the appointments, as they become convenient or convenient for them, and at the same time fill out the forms before coming in. In addition to that, the confirmation button is you can redirect them into your website, and this is to utilize your website online presence and all that kind of stuff. We can add the link to your services page. Patients may not be aware that you have other services, teeth whitening, implants and all that kind of stuff. And also to your blog, you can redirect them to your blog and all the kind of thing. Two-way texting. You can send them messages, and you can communicate from there, and the patients can respond, and you can, and it's an easy conversations kind of stuff.
I'm going to confess right now, guys, if I can't book an appointment online, I don't book. I actually look for places that have online booking, because the reality is, for me, I'm all day, I'm in meetings, I'm back to back, people are calling me, messaging me. I'm trying to, handle my schedule. I'm a very busy person, and I do it to myself. I overbook myself, and I'm the first to admit it. But I do this all the time. So for me, it's all about convenience. If I can book an appointment at 11 p.m., that is the highlight for me, because I don't have time to do personal stuff during the day. So for me, I'm much more likely to go to a business that accommodates these things than it doesn't. And I know not everybody's like that. Some people still love the phone calls. That's not a bad thing. But I know in some of my practices, it's made it revolutionary for them. So that two-way text is awesome. People can get in touch. I know sometimes the fear is that patients, they'll just cancel over text. Well, it actually doesn't happen as much as you guys would think. It's the same as them calling and leaving a voicemail, right? But it makes it very easy for people to reach out when they want, right? The younger generation, Noel's kids' generation, they don't pick up the phone. They don't make phone calls. Ask Noel. There's no calls that happen in his household. I guarantee you, because they're all about texting. They're all about online, right? And I know as a denturist, you're like, oh, my patients aren't that young, but my grandpa is 89 years old and he texts me all the time. I mean, he signs it, love grandpa, every time, but he does it. I feel like it's impressive, right? So I think the technology is coming so far. And I think like all the points Noel was talking about are things that people are looking for. And it's just going to keep heading in that direction with AI coming in, with technology advancing further and further. People are getting used to it. So it's becoming easier and easier for them to utilize it.
Exactly. And also into the phone calls, my children always send me a text, send me a messenger and all that kind of stuff. We still have a phone line at home, but it's for my mother-in-law and for me and for my wife. Yeah.
But this is the reality, right? How many people have home phones anymore? Like it's not a standard thing, right? So it's just becoming a reality. So it's adapting our practices and adapting the way we do things to accommodate what patients are looking for. And I think that's the secret to it all, is just actually being able to do it, right? And I agree, there's not going to be one system of how often you remind people, right? You guys know your patients, you know your patient base, what's going to work. But the cool thing about we're going to show you Engage B is you can program it any way you want. You can have it say what you want. You can still portray your message as a business owner to your patients. It's just in a different form of communication.
Exactly. And then on that note, I'm going to share my screen and show you the Engage B, or our patient communications, and we'll show you the campaigns and the messages that are sent to the patients, confirmations, forms, as well as the recall reminders. So it doesn't stop with when they are due, but you can also send them multiple appointments after the supposedly the recall date. And you can send them a different message, or same message, different messages, and with additional messages about oral care if they ignore it. if they ignore it, and all that kind of stuff. So let me share my screen, and I will go through it. All right. So I'm guessing that you see the screen okay. So this is the campaign. So there's a couple of three actually, and we will start with the appointments. So the appointments, as you can see, there is a 3 reminders before the appointments. 30 days, and we can customize this based on how your reminder process works. In this case, we have 30 days to give the patients a plan for their appointments ahead. 7 days is with the confirmations and a day reminder of the appointments. In addition to that, you have a Google survey. If you have Google survey, we can attach the link and send them the Google reviews and all that kind of stuff. And also, if you have a post-operative instructions, you can send that as well. Now, here is the recall. Same thing with the recalls. 30 days and 60 days and 30 days before the recall date. And there are a series of reminders after. So you can customize this based on how you want it. And for examples, I did send myself a reminders. So this is the reminders. So, and also this link or this confirmation button, it redirects you to the websites, and so they can be aware, they can see your websites and services and all that kind of stuff. And that brings me to the MinOps website. And also that confirms the appointments for Jeremy. Recalls. I did send myself a recalls reminders, but before going into that, let's dive into the forms. So in these examples, we have the confirm appointments and the new patient forms. So patients can complete their forms online before coming in. So they have to go through this, submit, and you can combine the medical histories, consent forms, and all that kind of stuff. And this reduces the duplications, or patients can go to the clinic, and they don't need to fill out the forms because they have completed that already. But one thing though is this needs to be reviewed with them just to make sure these are answered correctly. And how is this form linked into their
Hold on. I have one point about that, Noel, that I just want to point out. Because we're talking to denturists and we're talking to independent hygienists, probably a few work in care homes and seniors living communities. And if you guys can get their medical history prior, what if they need pre-meds? Right? You don't want to be going there for an appointment if they need pre-meds ahead of time, or if you need a med list from their doctor, you need INR. If you need any of those things, sending these forms ahead of time is going to save you the hassle of having that full consult and wasting your time, right? Especially, I know our East Coast friends have it really hard. It's very hard to get patients in on the East. I know this. The wait list is 3 to 6 months. If you guys can get these forms done ahead of time, we know what's going on with those patients. We can get that information. It's just going to save you so much time and so much money in the operatory or in the seniors living community, because you don't have to stress about it, right? You know what's going on with those patients. You know all that information ahead of time. So it just makes it easier to contact them, get their doctor, get all the things you need prior to those appointments. Because I have seen that in practice where the patient comes in and we're like, oh, you just had a hip replacement. Oh, you need pre-meds. Oh, you know what? You are taking blood thinners. Like, we obviously can't do treatment today. So I see that a lot in practice. And what I found is by implementing this, having it done ahead of time, it saves some of that time, some of that hassle and frustration on the patient's part. Because the last thing you want is for them to come in and then you not be able to treat them, and then they're upset, and then they're telling their friends, and it just becomes like a negative cycle. So I just my practices, that's what I found has worked really well and made a big difference. So I just wanted to share that piece because I know once we started doing that, it just saved us so much. So it was fantastic.
Thank you for that, Savannah. And continuing on. This is how the forms are integrated or linked into the Maxinets. So they have the profile. Under the profile, you have the history. So open that, double click on it, and it will bring you to the completed forms. And of course, this is this still needs to review and just to make sure they answer this correctly. And if there's any corrections, you have your notes in there, and you have you need to sign and submit. So that finalizes the forms. All right. Now, is there any questions so far?
No questions have popped up
Questions?
yet.
Okay. Moving on.
This again, fantastic if you have this information ahead of time. And on behalf of Alex, who would say this, just remember, guys, it is so important you sign off on these things, just for liability purposes, right? Making sure you have your notes signed, making sure you have your med history signed, making sure you've reviewed. I mean, patients, as we know, my favorite is dental assistants. They'll go in, they'll be like, has there been any changes to your medical history? They go through it. The patient immediately says no. As soon as the clinician walks in, they're like, oh yeah, I had a heart attack 6 months ago. Like, okay, it's not on your form, right? So very important that Noel made that point. You still have to review it and go through. But the nice thing is being prepared and doing it ahead of time, because you can have those questions pre-prepared in your head for when the patient actually comes in. So, and just don't forget that signature, because if you ever do get audited, that signature is a very, very important piece that will protect you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right. So let's go to the recall reminders and the online booking. So I did send myself as a couple of reminders. Okay. So one of which is the recall due, and with the online booking. This is very easy for the patients, and the system knows how many units and what time are we booking the patients, and at the same time, when is the recall appointments due, plus 1 day buffer. Or you can customize that based on how you add the buffer, just to make sure this is being covered by the insurance and all that kind of stuff. It's very simple on the patient side of things. So there's an online booking link, and this is linked into your schedule, and it will read the appointments or the date, the time, and this is for patients that is due for the 15th, and that is, let's pull up here quickly so you can have this info. So the recall date for Tony or let's see. I think that is Joseph White. Okay. Joseph White's due date, the recall date is June 15, and it's 4 units. So looking at the online booking, it has a 1 day buffer, so it allows the patients to select the appointments on the 16th onwards. And because it's a 1 hour appointments, it displays the available time there. So I will selecting the June 16, add some notes, confirm the appointments, confirm booking. Very simple. Next step is to match the icon and just for the added security features. And that is the confirmation. So this information will be received by the patients, and at the same time, the office will get this information as well. Now, looking at the appointments, so June should have so you have Joseph White, hygiene appointments, and an indicator that this is an online booking. All right. Okay. Next one will be the two-way texting. So you can send a quick messages to your patients, and then just to take a look, say hi or something like that, or some important messages kind of thing. So this is the chat app. So if you can see that there is the chat bubble has three and circle, and at the same time, this is being reflected into the MaxNet program under the patient chat button. You can click on that, and you will see all the patients that are waiting, or the new chats, and you can reply. So I did send myself an example. So I am asking myself about how was the webinar today, and you can continue communicate with them. So if they responded that night, you open your MaxNet and you will see there's a red patient chat in patient chat button in red, and messages waiting. All right. Okay, so let's go to the recall reminders. The additional messages, like after the overdues, I mean.
So this feature I love, because what I find, everyone that has recalls, whether it's denture, whether it's hygiene, whatever it is, exams, it's some sort of reminder appointment. Well, people forgot. And this is a cool feature because you guys can use it to incentivize your patients in different ways. So for example, every end of October, I'll give you guys all my secrets, but end of October, I always send an email to all our patients reminding them that insurance is going to renew in January, because most insurances renew. So it's a good reminder to give them a push to get in before it gets crazy in December, right? We do a spring email. I remind people, I'm like, hey, it's spring. You should come in for your spring cleaning. Like, I make a joke, and I always put like like a hilarious cartoon in it and send it to patients, right? And you can use that for any promos that you guys do in the office as well. So if you're trying to market to your existing patients, you can actually go in and filter all of this. It's very cool. You can choose who you want it to go to. And the coolest part is you can do a promo. You can send out free whitening. You can send out, come in before this date, we'll give you an electric toothbrush, whatever you guys want to do that works for your practice. But it's a great way and such a cool tool to market to your existing patients. Sometimes we forget in practice. We just want new patients. We're focused. We're like, this is where I'm at. But we forget about our existing patients or patients who haven't been in a while. Sometimes you give them that little extra bonus. Why not? Right? Someone offers me a free glass of wine with dinner. I'm going for dinner, let me tell you. So, you give them a little extra and you use this tool to be able to do that. It's very cool. Or if you have a new service that you guys are offering, let's say you have someone coming in to do Botox in your practice. You want to market to your existing patients that you have that person here. This is it. So it's very cool.
Yep. And also as I mentioned earlier, there is you can add some messages on the recall reminder as well. People sometimes they're ignoring it and they're not aware of what's going to happen or what's the effect on their health. So one of the examples is here. So this is a 3-month overdue, and of course they still have the online booking there, and with the additional messages of pictures, because I believe there's a pictures describe 1,000 words. So that's one. That's the 3 months, and again, you can customize this based on the messages, and as well as you can integrate many additional informations. The other thing that I created here is for 6 months overdue, and this is a text. What happened if dental hygienists skip over 6 months, kind of thing. Same thing with over a year. So yeah, so this is the having the automations, the the reminder systems, and all that kind of stuff is not to it's to produce a better experience with the patients, and at the same time, the staff, the front desk are not overwhelmed, and also you can do a reactive of what's happening in 2 days, or see the appointments, what's the status, and all that kind of stuff.
No, totally. And if you guys are a practice that doesn't have a receptionist, this will make your life so much better. I talk to practices all the time that don't, right? They don't necessarily need someone. If you're, if you're just running a small independent chair and you're by yourself, you might not have a receptionist, right? So the more of this you can automate for your patients, the less you're going to miss, the less frustration you'll have, right? Because I know it's like when you're back to back seeing 7 patients a day and you're just on the go, it's hard. You don't want to waste your whole lunch. You need to eat, right? Like you don't want to waste your whole lunch calling patients back, answering voicemails, this, that. The texting thing is so cool because you can just do it in between. It's very fast to get back to people. It gives them more options. They get back to you when it's convenient. As we know, the convenience thing is huge for people these days. So being able to automate things is it's a massive advantage for your practice. And again, people like me who are annoying, and I know I'm the annoying patient, I love it because it just makes my life easy. I confirm everything. I never miss an appointment with those reminders. And the thing that I feel is the advantage with these new systems is that you can customize them so much. So if your patients don't need 10 reminders, you can set it that way. You can have 2, you can have 3, you can have it set with the way your system works. If I get 10 and I get one an hour before my appointment, I'm very happy. I'm like, oh yeah, gotta go now. This is good. I'm not going to be late, right? I have to have an alarm for every single thing on my phone. So if it does it automatically and I don't need to sit and put this in and it syncs into my calendar, I can just book it. I'm way more likely to do it, right? And I do think it is a thing. And I think it's a thing of the younger generation. I think it's a thing of just technology becoming the forefront of things. So,
and also the it's a patient experience would be better without with this. You don't need to bug them every time and all that kind of stuff.
Well, and if somebody's on holidays, you don't know that they're away for a month, so you're calling and then you call again, and then they get back to you 2 months later. They're like, "Oh, sorry, I was gone," right? Where you send an email, they probably have an automatic response that's going to tell you they're on holidays, or you send them a message and then they know they're going to respond when they get back, right? So it gives a lot of flexibility for your patients, and I think that's kind of what the world's coming to since COVID. It's changed, right? There's a lot more people working from home, doing hybrid roles, doing things differently than we ever used to, right? So I think giving your patients that flexibility and being able to offer that is huge. And I think it makes a big, big difference. And it's going to set you apart from some of your competitors, right?
Exactly. And also one of the experience that's it's a true story coming from a client. And because the reminder system or the engaged, we send out the birthday greetings, holiday greetings, and all that kind of stuff. So it's a small town, right? And the patients saw the hygienists, the providers, and the patients thanked the hygienist and says, "Oh, thank you for the birthday greetings." And the provider is wondering, "Oh, I didn't send you when did I send that?" And it's just that happens that the reminder system or the engagement send out the reminders automatic on the day off. So it's a very good relationship building.
Yeah. Oh, it's cute. You know what? People love stuff like that. Kids love stuff like that. That's one thing. I find kids, when they get like addressed mail or they get something special, unique to them, they love it, right? Seniors love it too. People don't call them sometimes, so they get that like little bit of extra interaction. It's just a nice thing for people for sure. So, especially a small town, that's very cute.
100%. Now, as also mentioned earlier, we are going to present you some marketing tools that you can use. So we have we have the tools to analyze what's the demographics. And one of the example, and let me show you the screen in here, and of course, let me share my screen. So this is I hope you can see that okay. Let me increase that. So this is, I'm sorry, say it again.
It's good. You can see it.
Good? Okay, yeah. Perfect. Now, this is one of the reports that we generated, and you can use this for what kind of approach when it comes to your marketing. So it says here, there are daycares, there are primary schools, high schools, and all that kind of stuff. So this means that, you can collaborate with the schools and say, do some the lunch program, join the lunch program or any activities in the school, and talk about some of the marketing or the dental hygiene kind of stuff. That's one. Or community involvement. You can use that as well. Second, the other examples we have here. Parks. So summer. There you can set up like Alex said, you can set up a bouncy castles for children and start networking with the parents, the moms, and talk about the dental hygienes and introduce your brands, introduce your business, things like that. The age demographics, that you can use that for the what kind of marketing approach is the patients are at their certain age, like 20s and or middle ages and things like that. So they can. So let me find that. Page. That's the park.
It's funny, Park. I'm laughing because I did this with a practice at one point. It was a brand new office, and we did the bouncy castle, not in a park, in the parking lot of the office. And I didn't think it would be like a big event. I was like, oh, okay. So we bought like food and we had, hamburgers and all kinds of stuff. And I literally had to go to the grocery store 3 times to buy more food because we kept running out because so many people came. And it was a good practice builder. It was really nice just for the community, but the kids had a lot of fun. It was amazing. But I literally had to go to the grocery store like 3 or 4 times to keep buying more food because I just didn't think that many people would show up. So if you do know that, I didn't have these tools back then, so I didn't know this, that we were going to have that many people come.
All right, and thank you. And I found the age demographics. Finally. Okay, so the age demographics. So what does this report tell us? So these are the younger generations. So that means they are most likely on their social medias, So 30s up to 49. These are the highest number. So you can use some of the you can put a postcards in some of the infrastructures like groceries and all that kind of stuff, and add the like a QR codes that redirect them to your services, redirect them to your websites. The other thing is housing. So what does the housing look like? So again, with the age demographics, and most of them are social medias. Of course, you can use the flyers or the postcard with the QR codes, or you can use the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, and all the kind of stuff. Because most of them after work, as they're sitting on the couch having relaxing or conversations while browsing on their gadgets, your phones, and all that kind of stuff. So social media or Google Ads or social medias and things like that will be work best for marketing. All right. So Savannah, anything to add?
Yeah, the only other thing I was thinking about is knowing how much your household income is in your area is also very handy to know, right? It's not saying it's not going to obviously like change which patients are coming in or why, but it gives you a good idea of what to market to them, right? If you are in an area that's, a little higher end, it's got a little more household median income, you might want to market whitening, right? Because people are looking at that. They're looking for aesthetics. Where if you're in an area that's maybe a little bit of a different demographic where they have more restorative dentistry to do, you're not going to market whitening. Do you know what I mean? Because they're not even going to be eligible for whitening. But as like an independent hygiene practice, this is fantastic, right? If you know that your patients as a denturist have a little bit more money, well, you're probably want to get in touch with someone placing implants, right? And do more of that type of work because those patients are probably looking and that's what they want, right? They can afford it. So it gives you just an idea of kind of what you can market for and what you should be looking at, right? Because again, as a denturist, I would want to be doing all on X or all on 4 all the time, right? Like I wouldn't want to be doing CLDs, CUDs. I don't know. I'm not a denturist, so maybe my opinion is not good. But you kind of, if you know that that information ahead of time, it's fantastic. If you guys don't own a practice and you were thinking of setting up a practice, knowing all this information is amazing. I've done this when I've looked at locations for dental practices and I'm trying to decide, is this better than this? And getting all of that information. Noel, prepared a lot of really great reports. Knowing all that can give you the deciding factor if this makes more sense for me or this makes more sense for me, because we all have a different vision on what our practice is going to look like, right? So it's like, okay, well, if I have all the information sitting in front of me, it just gives me more education to make a decision that's going to be best for me and what I'm looking for as a practice owner and what I want out of this, right? Even being mobile, right? If there's I don't know if there's any mobile hygienists with us today or mobile denturists, but knowing what areas you guys want to target. Where is that seniors population? If you're a mobile denturist, where are more families? Where are those, the more information you have, the easier it's going to be to choose where to spend your marketing dollars too. You don't want to just be throwing money out the window. We all don't have unlimited money, let me tell you. So we don't want to be throwing it out the window at things that we don't know are going to work, right? And I think that's a big piece. If we have a limited budget, which we all do, well, maybe somebody has an unlimited budget. If you do, call me. I want to talk. I want to be friends. But honestly, we all have a budget. We all have a certain amount we're going to spend, right? We want to invest it, but we want to make sure that ROI is there. And I think that's an important piece. Whatever we're going to do, you always want to have a return, right? You don't need to have a crazy return where it's like, oh, I did an event, I get 50 new patients. It's probably not going to work like that, right? But if you're in a community, like Noel touched on so many of these good ideas, magazine ads. Sometimes certain communities, I find those magazine ads do really well. Direct mail still works. I know people are like, oh, it's all about the internet. It's all internet based. But depending on where you are in your demographics, direct mail is amazing sometimes. Doing, flyers. People still like reading magazines. It's shocking to me, but it's true. It's like people love picking them up. They like newspapers. If you're in a certain community, like you speak 3 languages, right? Do you want to market to people who speak the same language? That's an option, right? If you're, Iranian, you're in an Iranian community, why not market to those people who might feel more comfortable with you just because they can relate more? So I think where Noel was going with this, which I loved, is getting that information, getting those reports. We can help you guys to really use your dollars properly and get the most out of it. And I think that's the key to any marketing is, sure, you can spend as much as you want, but if you're not getting any return and you're not getting what you want out of it, there's no point in doing it at all. If you don't have a website, there's no point in marketing. If you don't have the things that you should do, there's no point in spending your money, right? So we want to make sure that any advice that we give at any point is going to be beneficial for you guys, and there's going to be a really good result from that. So
100%. And also, I just something came up in my mind, and this is also one of the very effective in the community. The community, they have a Facebook community. Join that Facebook communities or community Facebook group kind of thing. Join that. It will give you tons and tons of information as to what's they needed, and things like that.
Absolutely. Different communities will have different things, but that always works really well too. I completely agree. You'll also know if someone's unhappy with you. That's another thing. You guys will get information if someone's unhappy with the services or is looking, recommendations. Depends on the community. Some are more involved with others, like especially different parts of the country have different things going on. But I do something with one of my practices. It's here in Calgary, and we have a community group that does something called Feel Good Friday. And it's just a community booster where they give away free stuff every Friday. It's kind of cool. I've never won anything to date, but I'm hoping one day I'll get something. But they have thousands of people who comment on this. And every week we just give away an electric toothbrush. I'm like, why not? You know what? It's great for somebody. And people love it. They're so thankful when they come and pick them up. And it gets our name out there all the time. We're helping the community, we're helping people, but we're also marketing. So it's kind of cool. It doesn't have to be something big. This cost me $25 a week. It's nothing, right? But it's actually one of the better marketing tactics that we do for that practice. So I completely agree with Noel. Like, it's a fantastic idea to get involved with that kind of stuff. Winnipeg, there's one group for all of Manitoba, but the action on that group is shocking to me. Like, I'm on there and I'm like, wow, there was like 50 posts in 2 days. I'm like, that's impressive.
All right. Do you see any questions there pop up, Savannah?
No, I don't think so. But if anybody has any questions, now is the time, guys, because we're happy to help. If anybody also, I know sometimes people don't want to ask, you think of it later. We're going to pop up our contact information. I know, like, Noel's a superstar and everybody knows him, but I did put his contact info on there as well. Or if anybody has any questions for me, obviously, we answer anytime that we can, and are happy to help people with, those things that come up. And sometimes it's not today. Sometimes it's a little future in your practice, right? So for example, I did a lecture at Spectrum Day last year. So Noel doesn't probably know this story because he wasn't with us at ASM. So I did a lecture at Spectrum last year. It was really fun. We had a really cool group of denturists that were there. So we had a lot of fun. We just talked about different scenarios, different things, different ways to hire, different, ways to make your practice just a little bit more fun. We talked about like culture, how to establish culture. We talked about mission, vision, all these things, right? But it was very interactive. It was very, very fun. So I had a great time at Spectrum last year. So this year I was at ASM, and it was about an hour into our day, and this lady comes up to me, and I thought I recognized her, but I wasn't quite sure who she was. And she says to me, she's like, Savannah, I know you don't remember me, but you changed my practice. And I went, oh, okay. And I don't know if it's good or bad at this point, guys. I'm having that little bit of the heart drop where I'm like, uh-oh. And she kind of looks at me and she goes, yeah, I fired all my staff. And I went, oh no. And my heart dropped. Okay. And I'm like, oh man, did I give this lady bad advice? Did I wreck her entire practice? Like, I felt so bad at that point. I didn't know where she was going. Very cute lady, by the way. And then she hugs me and she said, no, it was the best thing I ever did, because she's like, I finally have what I want in my practice. Like, I have the culture. I have a better environment. She's like, I'm happy going to my office every day. And she's like, my patients, she's like, I can feel the vibe from my patients because they feel so good coming into practice, right? And that's our goal. Our goal is to try to make it easier for you guys. We know independents get looked over a little bit. Noel never does. He's always got your back 100% of the time. But I just know in this industry that happens. And, our goal is to help you guys. If there's anything we can ever do, we're here. So that's my contact there. My cell phone is everywhere. If you guys don't have it, let me know, send me a note. I'm happy to text. I'm happy to get back to you. Noel gets back to everybody instantaneously. He's very good at being in touch with you guys. So if there's anything that we can help with some of these services or with automation or just any questions you have, we got you.
Amazing.
Guys, well, at that note, we're a couple minutes early. I thought somebody would ask some questions, but I guess we don't have that today. So we will let everybody go a few minutes early. But if you guys, like I said, if you guys need anything, this is how you find us. You reach out, and I'll let Noel finish up with the closing ceremony like the Olympics.
Yep. Okay. Sounds good.
That's it? I thought you were going to say something like epic there. I was waiting for it. I was like, he's going to have this like amazing quote or something to say.
Nope, it's wonderful seeing you, and thank you for joining us. And it's it's sunny Tuesday here in Winnipeg, and it's been very nice today, and I think this is the first time we're having a nice day, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe I'm not out of the house more often. But yeah, thank you.
I know where he's going. He appreciates everybody taking the time when it's a nice day to join us. So, guys, with that, we do appreciate you all. Again, if you need anything, we're always here for you, but we appreciate the time. You guys will get that recording. If anybody needs a CE, let us know. Otherwise, we'll be back to do this again at some point. And if anybody is coming to JDIQ, I will be there. If anybody is coming to the Newfoundland Dental Conference, I will be there. So come and say hi. Okay, guys. On that note, have an amazing rest of your day. We appreciate your time and we will chat with you soon.